Okay, now keeping the analogy that we just saw in mind, I'm going to show you an example now of two programmable logic controllers or PLCs communicating via the Modbus protocol. PLC1 is the master and PLC2 is the slave. Both PLCs are Modbus compliant and have RS-485 communication ports. And those ports are for the exchange of Modbus data, of course. Now note that I'm using RS-485 just to start things off before I move into TCP/IP, because RS-485 is pretty simple. Believe it or not, network layering applies to RS-485 as well. I have drawn the PLCs as I have so that I can expand more on what is happening internally when they communicate via Modbus. Each PLC will have a software module that will be responsible for implementing the Modbus protocol. Each PLC will also have software and hardware for implementing RS-485. So now let's take a closer look at this diagram. So I have my RS-485 connection. I have here what represents the Modbus software module, and then I have the RS-485 software and hardware. So this would be software and also the actual physical hardware and communication port that would connect to the RS-485 cables, right? In PLC1 and PLC2. So the Modbus software module, note that very important thing here. This Modbus software module does not directly communicate with the RS-485 port. It doesn't. It actually sends its data to the RS-485 software and hardware within the PLC, and that module actually sends the data out on RS-485, and it's captured by the RS-485 software and hardware on PLC2, and this module here now sends the data to the Modbus software module on PLC2 to be interpreted. So that is a very important distinction there. It's why Modbus software is really what you call hardware independent or communications mechanism independent. Modbus software just defines the arrangement of data. It doesn't define how the data is transported. Very, very important point, big idea. So that separation allows Modbus to use different types of hardware and communication mechanisms to get its data across, because it doesn't depend on one type. It's separated. It doesn't define the type. So if I were to use network layering terms that are used in the IT industry, I would say that Modbus operates at the application layer. All right? It has nothing to do with the transport of the data. It merely defines and interprets the data. And in this case, the RS-485 software and hardware on both PLCs operate at what you call the physical layer, physically transporting the data using electrical signals. So this concept here is extremely important. This application layer is just like Greg and Doug, and the physical layer is just like FedEx, right? Greg and Doug were using FedEx. They were using FedEx to transport the data. And their jobs were just to interpret the data, in their case, the contract. Same for Modbus. This is your application layer, and this is your physical layer. So extremely, extremely important, very, very big idea. And this is network layering. This is the principle, the separation of functions.